him what his favorite December memory was or is, and he says going to the Great Exuma in the Exuma in the Bahamas with my family. That's wonderful. Brian is asking for 11 minutes, and the title is Who Would You Bet On? And he's doing objective 4, how to say it in a competent communicator manual. Thank you.
Who would you bet on? Who would you bet on? If I told you to take a look back over your life, your top 200 best friends, and I told you, you give me $1,000, and after that, month after month after month, year after year, you will get 10% of their earnings. Who would you bet on? How would you determine that? Would you take a look at the colleges they went to? Would you take a look at the grades they got in school? Would you take a look at their balance sheet and their income statement? Since the beginning of time, man has studied how to determine whether a child will grow up to be successful in life. And out of all these tests they've come up with one that performs far and above all the others. And you can go on YouTube and watch this. It's called the marshmallow test. And the way it works is a psychologist goes into a room, sits down with a 3 or 4-year-old child and says, "This is a marshmallow. It is yours. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm going to go away for a little while. And when I come back, if you still have that marshmallow, I'm going to give you another one." And what they find is 50% of them failed, and the other 50% were successful. They followed them 20 to 30 years out the road. 50% were successful, not eating the marshmallow. 50% were successful, or failed and ate the marshmallow. What they found was after 20 or 30 years is those that abstained from eating that marshmallow in all quantitative areas of their life performed far and above in terms of wealth, in terms of career success, in terms of family relationships, performed far and above those that failed and ate the marshmallow. And what's interesting is when you watch this test, because what you'll see is how these kids react. Those that fail, they go in, they sit down, they look at the marshmallow, and they think about the marshmallow, and they cave in. And those that succeed, they put their arms on their desk and put their head on it. They look down at the floor, they look up at the wall, because at 3 years old, they're already aware of how weak the human willpower is. Now, unfortunately, we can't use this test to determine which adults to bet on. It doesn't work for adults. But there are certain things that we can learn from this, because humans are bombarded by marshmallows all day long, things that are clamoring and striving for their attention. To give you an example, I see this more and more nowadays, and it really amazes me. A guy and a girl claim they're madly in love. They go out to a restaurant. Here's an opportunity to spend some precious time together. They order their food, and out come the smartphones. And while they're spending this precious time with the person they love, they're sitting there texting with their business and with their friends. So they're in this time that they can be bonding. They're actually slicing up parts of that time and giving it to others. Well, once again, we can't use this test to determine who we're going to bet on. So what can we do to figure this out? There is a man who all day long, all he does is bet on people and corporations. That's it. All day long. And he is a master at it. And he is worth $66 billion. At times, he is the wealthiest man in the world. And his name is Warren Buffett. He doesn't make a product. He doesn't provide a service. All he does is sit there and evaluate and bet on people and corporations. Do you think we could learn a little bit from him about who we should bet on? Go out on YouTube, you will find videos about him all over the place. He tells about all he did, how he succeeded, the way he has. And in one of those videos, he talks about 3 qualities that he evaluates a man based on. In reverse order, they are intelligence, energy, and integrity. Intelligence, not just book smarts, not did you go to Harvard or Yale, but how do you make decisions? How do you solve problems? Energy. It's important that you eat healthy. It's important that you exercise. It's important you have the energy to do what you want to do. But more important than that is, do you have a bias towards action? Do you go out and have the energy to go after the things that you want to accomplish in life? And the final one, the third one, is the most important of all. In fact, Warren Buffett says, if you don't have this last one, he would prefer you be dumb and lazy. Because integrity is so critical that without it, you will do damage to yourself and you will do damage to others. And integrity means that you do things that are in alignment with the type of person you want to become. But even more important than that is, how do you deal with all those distractions, all those marshmallows in your life that are clamoring for your attention? Well, let's take a look at some tools on how we can develop these areas. Intelligence. Write things down. Your life is the most valuable thing you have. It's so important that we take the time to journal about it. With a journal, we can take a look at that journal and see how we're spending our time, and see if that's congruent with the type of person we want to become. Energy. I don't care what top performer you talk about. Whether it's Stephen Jobs in his address to Stanford University, if you haven't seen that, go out on YouTube and watch it. It is excellent. Warren Buffett, all top performers, Brian Tracy, they all agree, do the thing you love. That's the only thing that is going to inspire that energy in you to go out and become the best you can be. And finally, integrity. The best-selling author, Stephen Covey, of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, says always place first things first. Things that matter least should never go in front of things that matter most. If you say your family is the most important thing to you, open your journal and show me the time. If you tell me that your kids are the most important thing to you, open your journal and show me the time. How does a kid spell love? T-I-M. And in alignment with that, one of the things that I feel is very strong in moving you towards integrity. In fact, studies have shown this is the most important thing you can do or focus on to move you ahead in whatever you want in your life. And that is your peer group. You want to become an alcoholic? Hang out with all alcoholics. You want to become a top performing athlete? Hang out with top performing athletes. You want to be successful in your career? Hang out with people that are successful in your career. And I can honestly say one of the things I love about Toastmasters and Hardhats is that this is a great peer group to be a part of. We all come in here to work hard. We pour a lot of energy in here. We get up at the god-awful time of 7 a.m. in the morning and get in here. It's all because we're doing things that we're passionate about. We're helping each other grow, and we love it. And I have one last thing that I'd like you to think about. Because there's one person in this room that without giving me any money at all, you get 100% of their effort, 100% of the revenue, 100% of the relationships. The question is, would you be willing to bet on you? Where do you stand in relation to that? Are you in the top 10% of people you bet? Top 1%? Or are there marshmallows out there clamoring for your attention? How are you doing in terms of intelligence, energy, and integrity? What would it take for you to become the person that you would be willing to bet on you and Toastmasters.
Nice.
Oh.